Hey everyone, it's Lucid. Welcome back. We're jumping back into our game with Late Age Ulm, and it's turn 69, so we are entering the late game. Late game, in my opinion, it depends on each game, depending on how kind of fast nations research and stuff. By 70, you're basically in late game. Sometimes it can start as early as like 55, where you see some big stuff come out, but I think we're kind of just getting into it now. Which is really when this nation kind of comes into its own. So we are full on Cancer now, but we're playing against some of the most Cancer nations that exist as well. Like Abyssia is a very cancerous late game, as is Lemuria. I haven't been doing my diplomacy, but from Erythra, or however the hell you say it, thanks for letting me know. It may slow me down a bit though, since it'll take me a bit to get a satisfactory amount of fire resistance. I do have some commanders that are just naturally resistant, but not enough. I suppose you don't have any fire gems you're willing to trade. I have a bucket of earth gems I could give in return. So actually, I probably should have taken him up on that and traded. But I do also need my fire gems, because winning the game is going to depend on taking this throne, and taking this throne is going to be dependent on having a host of fire rings. So I'm starting to make them. I've got basically like a little center I've set up now where I've got these guys making rings of fire. I'm also going to want some of the armor. The thing is the armor is going to give me better protection, which will really be helpful in Infernal Disease as that comes out, but it's going to be less effective in terms of giving me fire resistance. So against Firestorm, this is not as good as the ring, but it's going to help versus Infernal Disease, so I'm probably going to do a mix. Or Flames from the Sky, not Firestorm. But you can see, here, let's go through the events, but spoiler alert, I killed his fort. Let's look at the Ghent real quick. Okay, it doesn't say, but yeah, we murdered his dudes here and killed the fort. It looks like as a bonus he threw in a mage, so not sure what this guy was going to cast. Looks like summon Air Elemental. Air Elemental is not going to do good against these. He's going to jump in and get killed in one turn, I predict. There you go. The reason is these guys have magic attacks, so anything with magic attacks will kill Air Elementals, and they don't have much protection, so 5 magic attacks will pretty much murder Air Elementals. Yeah, don't want to fight Belly Malhars. They're pretty tough. So anyway, rip Lemurian Fort. And well, let's go through the events in kind of a normal order. That was a spoiler. We cast Infernal Disease, so we pin... That was... he was leading a big army, like 100 dudes, so he is now pinned in. Auspex didn't find anything. Mind Hunt... we killed a dude here. I don't know who this was. Maybe it was a scout, or maybe there were 2 commanders, but we got him. So maybe this was a good idea, because both these were at the same... the Infernal Disease and the Mind Hunt were at the same province, so maybe that was good after all. Yeah, I think that's it for the spells that are interesting. Let's count real quick. Sanguine Heritage, 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So blood economy is still going well. One second, let me turn my messenger off. Yeah, so the blood economy is still going well. 7 vampires a turn, and then here we've got our lesser horrors, which attacked Lemuria in 1. They attacked Lemuria in 1 here too. The trick is to attack small provinces with the Lesser Horrors. My Vampire Lord teleported in. Let's watch this battle. So he has an Ice Elemental, which actually is not going to be very good against Lemuria, unless they attack at the same time, which I don't expect they will since my guy's on... Yeah, he probably killed like 5 or 6. Wither Bones does come out, and that's going to be pretty effective. And then if we look at my health here, I've got... Okay, so we kind of we're getting close to dying, but then we get right back up. No afflictions yet, so that's good. I think you can actually kill yourself with wither bones if you're a vampire. The AoE can hit you, so you gotta be a little careful doing that in close range. Brass Claw Horrors kill these guys. And Belly Maw Horrors, this was that battle we already watched. So with with 4 Sinless or Horrors cast the turn, I think we are going to be able to basically turn back the tide of Lemurian raiding. So this represents kind of an important turning point in that conflict. Lithium Veil, and I should have been more prepared for this, and it's one of those things I've played and won. I think I've won every game I've played with LA Ulm, and I've played probably 3 Llama server games with them now. I mentioned at the beginning of the video there's a Dominions 4 thing I was going to put up, but it was kind of the last Dominions 4 game I played, and rather than kind of put up this series when Dominions 5 was out, I said, okay, we'll play LA Ulm again. But, it is amazing how you learn so much every time you play a nation, and if I play LA Ulm again, I'm going to be way better than I was when I played it this time, and I was better this time than when I played it last time. So it's, it depends who you play, because you learn things from people you play against, and you learn about nation-nation interactions. Like, there wasn't a Lemuria in the last LA Ulm game, and it's really changed how I think about fighting Lemuria. I've learned a bunch about that, but I've also learned a bunch about fighting Lemuria with Late Age Ulm. So, anyway, that's one of the things I love about Dominions. Unfortunately, though, once I do a YouTube video on a nation, I don't tend to play them very much anymore, because I feel like all my things are kind of out there. So, in some ways, when I put a YouTube video up, it's kind of saying goodbye to a nation for me. I mean, I still will play them. It's not like I'm against it, but usually I'm trying to kind of figure out what's the next nation I'm going to play and get good at. Though I'm not sure if this will be a complete goodbye to Ulm. They're such a fun nation. Anyway, back to the game. So, we've been through the magic stuff. We've turned the tide. Blood economy's still going strong. Now we're to the battle, so we'll kind of just jump around. What was this? Was this Raiders? Yeah. For those of you who don't know, these Shadow Soldiers, they are summoned by priests. They're not free spawn in general. You get some of them as free spawn, but you're going to get these from reanimating. And they're actually stealthy, unlike your other troops, so if you put them on a mage, you can use them as stealthy raiders. We're not seeing that here, though. Okay, so there's some raiding here. This was my Vampire Lord Cloud Trapezing in. We had taken this, but apparently I forgot to send a scout to claim it. So, yeah. This was a single Lesser Horror versus all these guys, and it's actually pretty surprising that he won. He got a lucky fear check, because that many ghosts would have killed him. We also managed to clear off this fort. We had another little communion shenanigan come out, and this is a little overkill for this, but anyway, it's going to work. Is that the Shade King? I think it is. I wonder if we get him. This is a unique hero. I don't think I even noticed this. Oh, we're not going to get him. That's too bad. I mean, he's not super good or anything, but... And he's not immortal, so if you kill him, he's gone. I wonder if he's here now, or maybe... Yeah, I don't know. We also pinged this again. I don't know what this was. I think we're just... Yeah, I don't know what that was about. That was probably like a misclick, actually. I probably was thinking about attacking it, and then I called it off, but I didn't stop him from coming out. So anyway, this fort is fine. We've got 170 dudes on it, but we got a ton of dudes inside, so we're good. Um, so if we kind of zoom out for a minute, it looks like, you know, like there's a raid here. Or no, that was Abyssia. We've basically shut down most of Lemuria's raids. They're still over here a little bit. We're going to kick those out. And they're still here, but we basically got a lot of their raids shut down. They're trying to camp on top of our fort. Oh, let's take a look. I think I moved in... This was the province I assassinated the guys, and then I moved in these vampires to kill them. And I don't think it ended up working. Yeah, I don't think this is a very good script. This guy doesn't have anything. He'll just basically die. This guy has good gear and stuff, but... Okay, they ended up killing him, actually, so that's unfortunate. So I think I lost all the gear on him. Where was that? Dead Marshes? Let's go check out the battle report here. Yeah, so my Vampire Lord actually did die. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Killed a bunch of these guys, but not really a good trade because I lost all the items on him. So, yeah, that's really just too bad. Yeah. I think that is about it. Here, yeah, I probably should have kept some dudes. Do we have a battle here? I had moved this big army back. Okay, we did. So Lemuria had kept some troops here. And, yeah, they're just going to get murdered by these Ghoul Guardians. So I don't have score graphs, so I can't show you, but I imagine if we were to look at Lemuria's score graph, they probably were really high, and I bet you they're coming down a good bit. I don't even think they're holding stable. From like 6 turns ago, before they started really raiding me. I mean, we've killed a lot of raiders, and they do replenish them somewhat quickly, but not that quickly. So that's basically it. We're going to try to kind of push out, take this, push out, take this, and this army is kind of scary. I'm kind of wondering, though. I get the feeling he hasn't really moved this out. So he either A, has a really big army there, or he has... I'm starting to think maybe he has the things that make your army look bigger than it actually is. I think there's a mirror or something like that. We're also going to start preparing to take this fort. So, because he's got this big army here, I've got all my guys patrolling in case he attacks. So we'll see. Maybe we catch raiders, maybe we catch a big army. He can also probably attack here. Let's see the script I have. Flaming arrows, which is going to be good, and then Ghoul Guardians. The script doesn't even really matter. Horde of Skeletons will be fine. Yeah, so I think but basically we're going to move and take this pretty quick. It will be nice to get this for some extra fire and earth income. And I think it actually has a fair amount of population here too, I can't recall, but... yeah, we do want that. I probably want this too. This will be a good blood hunting province. But we'll see. For right now, I don't want to incur too much of Utgard's attention. Like, I'll probably take that, but I probably will leave the rest of this stuff. I mean, you can't... Even though we're not allies, really, you can't ask for a better buffer against Lemuria than this guy's doing. So, I do send some messages out. We'll go through diplomacy. Oh, you know, this message from Erythra that I got at the beginning, I didn't really explain the context for it. I had told him, okay, great, you're going to war with Abyssia. You need to know he casts flames from the sky, it caught me off guard, and it's going to kill half of your shit. So make sure your commanders are at least protected. So hopefully that works for him. I don't know how it's actually going to play out, but I did tell him about that. And then to Utgard... I just sent him a message telling him that I got this fort, which was under construction in 76, which is right here. So, that is that. And I think that will be it for this turn. I don't think there's anything else of note we need to cover. There were raiders here that I think we caught too. And this was more Ghoul Guardians with the Black Priest. These guys are in a lot of trouble. I can't remember. I think Ghoul Guardians actually have a patrol bonus. No, they don't. Okay. They have a castle defense bonus. Yeah, so you can see they actually are very good at siege defense, though I have other things for this nation that do that much better. So I think that's it for this turn. Let's go ahead and pull up the next one. This was turn... What was it? I think this was turn 69, so I think that means we're on turn 70. Infernal Disease. We actually got wrecked by a Shadow Tribune. We haven't seen this happen yet, so let's see what happened here. It may be they have gear from the battle they won. Yeah, I think that's what happens. So we do not murder this guy, unfortunately. Some more Lesser Horrors. Auspex did not find anything. Okay, did not find any sites. And then Blood Economy. Okay, so let's go to the thing. He attacks here. Or we attack here. And there's just some PD, so that's not going to do anything. I think we might have... Okay, we had another little small raiding squad. Now, the problem is he's got a lot of these guys, and I think he's kind of caught onto my ways. So he is most likely going to be enslaving... or Enslave Mind. He's going to be casting that. So we've got Army of Gold coming up. He's dropping a fair amount of gems on each of these fights too. So Darkness, Light of the Northern Star, Foul Vapors, Rigor Mortis, Army of Gold. You know, these are not free. Now Enslave Mind's coming out. Now I'm going to have to turn on Team Colored Square so we can see when this works. I'm going to zoom out a bit too. If you hit page up, it'll do this, which is kind of cool. So you can see Witherbone's coming out here. Soulslay going off, which Soulslay, if you kill an Immortal with Soulslay, it takes them twice as long to respawn. And I don't know if... I can't see if he actually got any of these. There's a way you can check. I'll show you in a hot minute. Oh, so he did. He got these two. These are his now. So if we hit F1, we'll be able to go down and check. F1 pulls this up. It's a good way to see what happened to some of your units. These guys are in alphabetical order. So you can see the ones which became units actually are no longer mine. So he got 3 of my vampire counts. And of them, one of them died. So he actually gets to keep 2 of them. Which you can't really... As another nation breaking into blood, this would be a good way to do it. Steal my vampire counts. But as Lemuria, you kind of... It's really hard to blood hunt as Lemuria. You just... Because you're a pop kill nation, you can't really do it. If you're really big, you might be able to. But, I mean, to what end? You're never going to do it really enough to justify blood research. You may do it enough to just where you can have somebody come in and do Sabbath Master and then Reinvigoration, which is all blood 1. That's... If you're doing communions as Lemuria, which are kind of expensive, that is something you definitely could do. Otherwise, it's kind of like, eh. So anyway, that did not go well. If we look at the battle report... Yeah, we killed 40 dudes, but he got 2 vampire counts. I bet he's thinking, sweet, you can do this every turn. I'll be happy with that. So I'm like, okay, this raiding strategy is not necessarily working, especially where there's Grand Lemurs. So I have to be particularly kind of mindful of that. What I do have, though, is I have 2 of these guys, and I've changed my gear on my Succubi, so let's talk about that. Lightning Helmet, Brimstone Boots... Rabbit Foot Charm, which is going to give me Twist Fate, which is pretty good in Assassinations. And then Lifelong Protection, which is very good in Assassinations. This guy, Water Bottle, Wraith Sword, and Lifelong Protection. And the script I have on these guys is basically, this guy is just like jump in there and attack. This guy's hold an attack, and here we're going to rely more on our minions. Here we're going to be more like a super combatant. We've got the rabbit foot so that we probably don't get hit. And yeah, we've got all, so we're much less likely to get hit. And the lifelong protection will kind of help give us chaff so that we don't get hit. So anyway, this guy's basically just going to jump in and attack. This guy's going to be on hold and attack, rely more on summons, but then eventually he will jump in. So we'll see. These are probably okay. They're not like super efficient. Like I didn't make the Wraith Sword for this. I just found it, and so I was like, okay, we'll put it on this guy. Yeah. So we tried to seduce the Grand Lemur, but we did not get him, unfortunately. And okay, I don't know. Okay, let's watch the battle here. We'll just click on the important battles. Horror coming in. It's going to murder those guys. So this is now freed up, which is nice. I'm going to get more income from it. Lemuria attacked me here. Tried to do a little raid. And Soul Vortex plus Wither Bones. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. Here, I think I just had PD. Yeah, that was one PD, so he took that. He did try to raid me here, and this is not going to go well. So when you're playing Lemuria, what you want is you want a very long border which you can raid upon, and Lemuria has that. So in many ways, this is a great war for Lemuria. But unfortunately, against Blood Nations, you really struggle once Infernal Disease comes up to raid and Lesser Horror. And then in addition, I have enough economy and I'm big enough I can defend a lot of these with units. So that is pretty good. And we can see Utgard is also mounting a very good defense. So Lemuria is probably... Okay, he's happy about this, but he's probably kind of struggling. He only has he can't do 10 Grand Lemurs per army for very many armies. I mean, if you think about it, they're 50 Death Gems a pop. And so, like... Or let's see actually how many were here in Bretagne. Or Bretagne. He had... Yeah, 13 Grand Lemurs. So that represents... every 2 is 100 gold, or 100 death gems. So this is like almost 700 death gems. Yeah, that's a lot. So he's like, okay, with 700 death gems, I'm gonna protect this one province. You know, you can't, that is not very scalable. So we'll see. I mean, this is annoying, but honestly, like, he probably got pretty happy about this. And, like, yeah, okay. The thing is, vampire counts are not really worth empowering. I mean, divine naming. So he's going to have a unit that's basically a vampire, which they're not that good. And then for me, it's like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. But I lost 3 guys, because one of them died, and then 2 of them he got to keep. But that's half a turn of production. And this is kind of like the worst luck I've had with Immortal so far, is losing half a turn of production. I can deal with that. Yeah, so that's basically kind of... I think that's pretty much what happened this turn. Oh, we had some more raids down here. We'll just click on them. Okay, wait, that's Abyssia. Yeah, I think that's about it for the raids. I think we... Oh, what happened here? Oh, so we tried to do a horror raid here, but there was a Grand Lemur, and these guys are not nearly as afraid of horrors as I wish they would be, and we only got 2 float cats. And they're gonna die to these skeletons. These are some of the weaker horrors. Yeah, especially to undead. Like, they kind of rely on life drain. And they're just gonna die to the skeleton spam here. Yeah, so if those were like belly maw horrors, it might have worked, but it didn't. And we can see the Grand Lemur moved here. So yeah, we're going to be basically here. We're going to set up a little trap. It's highly likely they raid here, so we're going to move a ton of dudes in, and hopefully they kill whatever is there. We've got our little blood economy going here. I don't expect to be attacked by too much, but we'll just have this same thing up with... this is not really a super efficient use of Vampire Lords, so you can see these are the Death 3, Blood 3 versions. But anyway, they're just going to hang out here for the moment. I probably need to turn this also into a Vampire Center, because it's kind of logistically hard to get vampires down to this corner. So I think my thrones here and here are going to be super well defended, because I don't ever want to lose a Vampire Center. And I think this will also be a Vampire Center. The other thing, and it's not going to happen quite yet, but it'll happen very soon, is with getting Blood 8, which I just got, I have 3 red seconds, which you can spend 120 slaves and get a citadel immediately, which is very good. It's going to increase my normal gold economy, which you can see right now is just, it's horrible. I was up almost at 10,000 and now I'm at 5,800. So it's really suffering. I don't have any money to spend. So I'm kind of on a little bit of a downward slope with income. We'll just look at my income graph real quick. So for provinces, you can see we're doing okay. But for income, we're kind of getting punished from where we were. We're a little back up, but we're not anywhere where we were before. A lot of that is due to blood hunting, but a lot of that's also due to raiding. Gym income, we're okay. Research, meh. And then Dominion, we're fine. Army size, we're stable and growing. And then Ascension points, we're okay. So things are kind of on the up. We had a bad stretch for a while, but things are a little better now. And yeah, so I think that's about all we're going to cover. We're doing a trap here. I don't think we have much coming in here to attack. We're just basically going to seduce this army. This fort is fine. We're at 500. So he's probably going to move this army off since it can't do much. Yeah, this is kind of the end of this siege over here. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Let's see what else we've got going on. Okay, yeah, so this is the first turn we're casting 3 red seconds, and we're casting it at 52, which is right here. So doing this, I want to use these forts for a few things. One, this is a pretty high income province, though it has a lot of unrest. I want to cordon off, I want to seal off this area of the map. Like, one of the nice things when you put a fort on it, if somebody raids it, they're not going to get as much income from it, so we're going to do that. It's also going to make it easier to, like, I'll keep the gym income from it and other things, so it's going to make it, basically I want to just totally seal off this area of the map, and then I'm eventually going to come and seal off this area, and that's kind of my mission right now, is I want to just, Ulm is very, very strong defensively, and I don't particularly... I want to push Lemuria back and, like, get them out of these lands, and I do want to crack forts, but you have to be very, very careful about cracking Lemurian forts, because basically Wind of Death traps is the #1 reason, and there are ways around it. You can do life after death and stuff, and I do want to do that. I don't really have the tool. Every time I get my guys grouped up, I kind of get wrecked, and part of it is I don't have Alt 9, which on one hand it's like, okay, dude, you need to go get Alt 9, but I think I want to get Construction 8 first. After that, I may go for Enchantment 9, which will give me Arcane Nexus depending on my gem income, or I may go for Alt 9. I don't think I'm going to go for Blood 9 yet, but Blood 9 is so good for me too. I really want to get it. It's going to do a few things. One is it allows me to get these better demons, which, like, the Infernal Forces and the Infernal Crusade are going to be both very useful against Abyssia, because they have fire resistance, so I can bring big armies that are not going to get killed by Firestorm or Flames from the Sky. So they're going to be very useful on that front. It also gives me damage reversal, which is super good for Communions, and for Thugs, which I have both. And then Claws of Kaitos and Infernal Prison. I don't have great access to these since I don't really have, like, Blood Fire or Blood Water. And the range on them is somewhat limited. but it is potentially a way to deal with some of Lemuria's dudes. Like, I could make an assassin, like I could get a vampire lord, empower them in fire, and then give him one of the items that gives you 2 blood slaves, and boom, he would be able to cast this pretty reliably in combat. So, yeah. Anything else? And yeah, that... Oh, I didn't say why that would be useful. That is... it's pretty good because it will effectively kill immortals, or semi-effectively. What happens is you get banished. You can't resist this. You'll be in range in an assassination, and you basically get sent to the Infernal Plane, and in the Infernal Plane there's a chance you get attacked by demons every turn. If you die, it doesn't matter whether you're immortal. Immortality does not protect you in these planes, these other planes. So they will be dead for good. And then, if you don't die, you respawn randomly on the map. So there's a good chance they'll pop back up and die. Anyway, it's a pretty good way to deal with these immortal dudes and get them out of play for good. The other thing I can do, and I don't think I'm going to do it yet, but this got opened up for me at Blood 8, is Life for Life is now open. I think I'm not going to do it quite yet, because I haven't realized how good this spell is. This particular game has, I think, made me a much better Blood Nation player in general. Even though it's like a spell line I like a lot and have used a lot, I haven't used all the stuff in it, and there's so much to do. So anyway, but that's another important thing that has come with Blood 8. Yeah. So I think that's it. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thank you all for watching.